I also welcome Mrs. Smita Chatterjee and Mr. Abraham Cherian, who accompanied the chief guest. Special welcome to Shri Jawahar sircar, the Honorable Member of the Parliament, Rajya Sabha, and today's Speaker. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation to be the speaker today. We look forward to listening to your lecture. I extend a warm welcome to all the teaching and non-teaching staff, Senate officials, alumni, distinguished guests, and my dear students. Today is the 261st birth anniversary of Reverend Dr. William Carey, the founder of this historic college. An ordinary man from England came all the way to Calcutta, India, following the guidance of the Holy Spirit to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and to follow him according to his great commission. The footprints of our founding father, Reverend Dr. William Carey, is traced back in the year 1793, when he arrived in Calcutta, and it took 25 years to set up this global institution of Serampur in the year 1818. And this institution is empowered by the Danish Royal Charter in 1827, issued by King Frederick VI of Denmark. And it was validated by the Serampur College Act 1918, also known as Bengal Act 4 of 1918. William Carey understood the need of imparting secular and theological education for the total upliftment of the society. And as a result, this great institution came into existence. His motto was to provide academic excellence for achieving physical, mental, and spiritual growth for the people of our nation, irrespective of caste, color, and creed. His legacy is in different fields. It's growing and stronger till today. He deserved to be called father of modern mission. Therefore, I request all the staff of Serampur College, ASC, Theology, and the Senate to work and contribute for the society, churches, and the nation at large. Let us all continue the legacy, vision, and mission of William Carey by expecting great things from God, and let us all attain great things for God. On this Carey Day, I wish you, everyone, a great awakening, enlightenment, and renewal in doing mission for extending God's kingdom on this earth. Happy Carey Day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this very fitting welcome speech. Now is the very prestigious time to release the Carey Day Souvenir 2022, which will be released by our Honorable Chief Guest, Ms. Smita Bajoria, and we welcome on stage one of the joint conveners of Carey Day Souvenir, the Subcommittee 2022, Reverend Dr. Subrosekhar Sarkar, to help in presenting the souvenir to our Chief Guest for release and say a few words on the publication of Souvenir 2022. Dr. Sarkar is being accompanied by Ms. Vanlal Shuai, another faculty member of the Faculty of Theology. Honorable Principal on the dais, Dr. Bansang Lura, and our Chief Guest, Ms. Smita Bajoria, the Consul General of Denmark for West Bengal, and Shri Jawahar sircar, the today's speaker, the honorable member of Rajya Sabha, and also the vice principal, both vice principals of ASC and theology, and my friends and faculty members in both the departments who are present here, and the students of both the theology and art science commerce, and the distinguished guests who are sitting at this panel. So, on behalf of the Carey Day 2022 Publication and Souvenir Committee, I'm very happy and very glad that on behalf of our publication committee that we are going to release the souvenir, Carey Day Souvenir 2022. August 17 marks the 261st birth anniversary of our founder, Reverend Dr. William Carey. It is an immense joy and pleasure that on behalf of these important documents very soon. Carey always remembered as a person but who had the multi-dimensional nature of his activities in various fields, namely the Bible translations in multiple languages, Christian mission, education, development of language and literature, science, agriculture, social reformation, and others. Well, Carey is always the center of our celebration on this occasion because of his birth anniversary. One cannot forget the contributions of William Ward, Joshua and Hannah Marshman, the Srampur Quartet, as I call them. And so their contributions are immense. They work together so hard to bring out these important institutions. And today we are celebrating this, and we have chosen the theme on behalf of the publication committee, William Carey and his associates towards transformation. Basing on the themes that we will see that how our contributors have contributed the article in relation to the various and diversified multi-dimensional the fields in their writing. And I'm sure that when you read this article that will generate a lot of interest and will continue to go for getting more knowledge about the mission and the work, and this will help us to enhance our knowledge as well. So I'm very pleased to introduce this and the release, and because of that, I would like to invite Mrs. Smita Bajoria to come over here and to release this important magazine. And I would like to invite our honorable principal to hand over this book to our chief guest. The first copy. And the remaining dignitaries on the dais will work to get a copy. And I would like to request Ms. Banglal Ruai to give those copies. Thank you, one and all. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Really today we are honored to have Ms. Smita Bajoria as our chief guest. Ms. Bajoria is the Consulate General of Denmark for West Bengal, and she is not only a successful entrepreneur and renowned business person, but is also a social worker. We know it all. She is one of India's foremost businesswomen and leaders with years of experience in industries. She is an active director in the SK Bajoria Group, as well as she has also created the Ganges Art Gallery at South Kolkata, which since September 2007 has been showcasing art from India and around the world. Now her aim is to enter telemedicine industry also. Uh, the art gallery is now a vibrant and exciting gallery space that is showcasing the best of modern and contemporary art also. So, I would like to request Ms. Smita Bajoria for her speech.
Good morning. Good morning. Namaskar everyone. To my fellow colleagues on the stage, the dignitary on the stage, to the faculty of Sirampur College and the students, and to everyone here from Sirampur. It is a pleasure to be part of the Carey Day celebrations today. Before I begin addressing all of you, I would like to quote Sir William Carey. There are grave difficulties on every hand, and more are looming ahead. Therefore, we must go forward. This is the belief he came with in all his efforts that we are standing here today and celebrating this special occasion. I take this opportunity to talk about how this all started and where we intend to head now. Sirampur was a Danish trading outpost from 1755 to 1854. Even after the Danish left, they wanted to give back to the society and emphasized on developing their education system here with the support of the Danish governors, Colonel B and his successor, Colonel Kefting. Joshua Marshman visited Copenhagen in 1927 and secured from the King of Denmark, Frederick VI, a royal charter empowering the college to confer degrees in all faculties. In other words, Sirampur College was considered the third university, the other two being at Copenhagen and at Kiel. Who knew at that time that a college which started in July 1818 by Carey, Marshman and Ward with a handful of students will accommodate over 3,000 day scholars and 160 residential students every year, aspiring many more in the future. It is now like a mini India as students from north, northeast and south, west all get admitted here. Apart from this, there are 65 affiliated colleges all over the country. The college has opened its doors to students irrespective of their religion, caste, color and creed. It offers art, science and commerce along with other subjects that stand relevant for the students of today. A little bit about the Danish involvement in the restoration projects. The Danish government takes keen interest in imparting education and hence is providing financial support to deserving students for their brighter future. It is beautiful to see how education has impacted the lives of the youngsters here. They are now able to move out, get stable jobs, fulfill their parents' dreams and aspire for a better life. With regard to the scholarships for deserving students, as I have mentioned, This is the second installment of the scholarship. The earlier one was disbursed in 1917-18. 45 students benefited earlier and 45 will benefit now. As we move forward, we would like to see student exchange programs where aspiring students could visit Denmark for short durations that could help them get further exposure. Besides their contribution to the college, the Sirampur initiative by the Danish government has been a gift to this region. The recently inaugurated restored old government house within the Sirampur Port complex is yet another remarkable contribution. This continuous and sustainable effort in developing this place are worth applauding. Unlike other regions in the state, Sirampur has set an example and has grown with times. Earlier, people could not think of moving from this place to work, but owing to the developments here, the scenario has changed. You will see a lot of more things happening in the future in Sirampur and surrounding regions. I have personally been coming here for the past 18 years, and I noticed how things have been changing during every visit. And so it's felt by ambassadors who have been coming also almost every year over the last few years, whenever they visit the area. The cordial Indo-Danish relationship is showcased by the works completed by the Danish government in Sirampur and how it continues to support the educational system will add to the history of this place. The more than decade-old journey of the initiative, backed by the National Museum of Denmark, Real Dania, a philanthropic organization, and Bente Wolf and the architects who were here as a project director and architect has come a full circle. With the historical precincts of St. Olaf's Church, the steeple of which can be seen from the old government house. The Red Building, the North and South gates, and now, not to forget the popular Denmark Tavern, up and running. After all, who leaves their home for 12 years to develop a place and live in another country to do the restoration work? Well, the Danish representative, Bente Wolf and Arun, they stayed here amidst the local people, and you'll be surprised the amount of work they have done and the language they picked up. I also want to put on record a thanks to the royal family in Denmark, the government of Denmark, my previous ambassadors, Freddie Swane, who is the current ambassador, who asked me to convey his regards to you as he is in Denmark and could not join the celebrations today. Perhaps next year he will come. And coming back to the fact that why we are here today, the mission of William Carey, one of the founders of this college, was to enlighten the minds of the students in a holistically humanizing way, the legacy of which we are still trying to maintain as we move forward. Special thanks to Dr. Vansan Lora for taking charge and moving ahead with Sir Carey's ideologies, as also his predecessors who have been here over the last 200 years. I would also like to mention the commendable efforts of the faculty who are giving their best to educate the young minds. Also, congratulations to all of you students here today on your success and for the effort you give every day to be a better you and better you tomorrow. And that's all. I hope that the celebrations will continue and go well. And as they say in Denmark, Kap. Dhanyavad. Thank you.
Let us give one more big round of applause to Madam Meta Bazaria, the chief guest for this Carey Day lecture, for the elegant speech and also for the wonderful help and cooperation she renders to Sirampur College with regard to scholarships to students and also future promises which are very encouraging for all of us. Thank you, Madam. Now, we are going to have the Carey Day lecture. The Honorable Carey Day speaker for 2022 is none other than Shri Jawahar Sircar, the Honorable Member of Parliament of Rajya Sabha from West Bengal government, and he is a retired IAS officer of 1975 batch. He was one of the very fine and successful civil servants of India for 42 years. Born on 22nd March 1952, Shri Jawahar Sircar, and had his early education in St. Xavier School, and then he graduated in political science from Presidency College and had two master's degrees from Calcutta University, one in ancient Indian history and culture, and the other in sociology with social and anthropology. As a brilliant student, he stood second in Calcutta University. Later, he also studied in the University of Cambridge and in the University of Sussex in UK. I heard a story about him in 1985 when he was the district magistrate of Bardhaman district of West Bengal. The then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi came to see the troubled areas of Bardhaman due to communal riots, etc. And while walking along Shri Jawahar sircar, Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi suddenly asked him a question. How many are the populations of Bardhaman district? And to Rajiv Gandhi's utter surprise, he immediately answered saying that it is equal with the total population of two countries like Ireland and Wales. The Prime Minister was very impressed at his intelligent answer. Not long after that incident, Shri Jawahar sircar was called to New Delhi to serve as the Cultural Secretary of India. From his prestigious position, he visited many countries of the world representing India's great cultural heritage and ethos. Then onwards, he headed India's cultural ministry for one of the longest periods, reporting directly to the Prime Minister of India. He also served as the Chief Executive Officer of Prasar Bharati, which included Doordarshan and All India Radio very successfully. He had published numerous articles and research papers on cultural, historical and anthropological subjects. He wrote in numerous newspapers in Bengali and English. As an excellent serviceman, he was given many prestigious awards like the Best CEO Award in 2013 and so on. He is a dynamic speaker too. We are very fortunate this year that we are able to hear from such an illustrious person on the theme William Carey's contribution to nationalism leading to freedom movement of India. Sir, we the flag bearers of this historic Serampur College, beginning from principal, all faculty members, non-teaching staff and students, are indeed honored to have you as this year's Carey Day speaker. The stage is yours, sir. Thank you.
Respected Principal and CEO, Reverend Manpan Lora, the Consul General of Denmark, Srimati Nita Bajoria, respected Vice Principal Dr. Banerjee, respected Vice Principal Dr. Gond, respected teachers and friends. When I was being introduced, they normally start saying that he is an MP. I would tap the shoulder and say, I'll say that he is also educated. But that's the problem because MP people don't bhabe je jai ho. So it is my proud honor to be standing in the presence of the very historic college, the second oldest college by just 1 year, and a college that has contributed not only the college, the mission, the press, the theology college and university, they have all contributed a lot to India. But I have been given a very tricky subject. I call it tricky because it harps on the word nation building and nationalism. I'll not repeat from the life of William Carey because I assume most of you have heard him again and again. But nation building and nationalism is a little difficult ground. I'll tell you the reason. The word nation, the concept of a nation as one people united around a particular concept, a language, a religion, a culture, a historical background, this took a long time to evolve. The process was sanctified first in the Peace of Westphalia in 1648. So students of history would know it as the post-Westphalian order. But that is easier said than done. Post-Westphalian order meant that certain communities, certain dukedoms or duchies of Europe got together. There could be 22 German states and all of them claiming to be German. So you needed Bismarck to unite them into one German state. Okay? Now, in this context, the fact of nationalism reached the shores of the Third World only after the First World War. It was only after the First World War that when the larger empires of the world, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the other large empires started cracking up, that out of them came out nation states. And the nation state played itself out till the Second World War, where the colonies were themselves released from bondage. So the actual period of maturity of a nation would be from the First World War to the Second World War, between 1919 and 1945, 49, 50. That is when all the nations emerged. So why are we talking about Carey's contribution to nation building when a nation is not yet metamorphosed from an amorphous entity into something that we can look forward as a corporate one, We talk about it because nations, the process that I just mentioned, is that of political consolidation. The political consolidation. But a political consolidation of a people takes 100 years, 500 years, maybe 1,000 years to gravitate towards that consolidation. We don't know how long the nation state will live. I can already see the demise of the nation state in favor of a different world order. But having said that, so the Indian nation did not come out of a plastic bag. It came through a process of evolution, and the strongest role that was played, the strongest cohesive role that was played was by the unification or the standardization of Indian culture by what would later on be called Hinduism, the Hindu way of life. It would later be called, when the process was going on, nobody called it Hindu or whatever. It was known as Hindu only when it was faced as different consolidated religion called Islam, and then the differences began, then Christianity comes in. So we have all these issues. So why do we talk of William Carey and nation building? Because I sincerely believe that without people like Carey and institutions that Carey put up, the institutions and enthusiasm of people like Carey, there would not be a consolidation of the Indian nation state in the 20th century. I say that with emphasis because we trace our ancestry, our break from the pre-modern to the modern with somebody called Ram Mohan. Okay? We start the Indian Enlightenment with Ram Mohan. But Ram Mohan cannot be delinked from Carey Maspand Ward. He cannot be delinked from many others. And Ram Mohan was a product of his time, so took the best out of them. He had the best of friendship and the worst of arguments. He had both of them. He had some terrific arguments with them, which shows his intellectual prowess. But so we come back and I'll explain through another example. The first modern institution in India that kindled an interest in India was our Shri. Okay. So first modern institution that kindled an interest in India was the Asiatic Society. The Asiatic Society of 1784 began a journey of linking Indian civilization with the greater universe of the world. It ferreted out and translated pieces from ancient Indian civilization. I am not standing as an apologist for everything that ancient Indian civilization stood for. I'm only mentioning factually that they brought out a lot of materials, they translated a lot of Sanskrit, Persian, other texts from the basic classical languages to English, making it more universal. They made the East India Company and its servants more sensitive to the country that they would inherit. But let us now go back. Okay, before I go back, let me distinguish between Carey's work and the Asiatic Society. I put it broadly. The group represented by the Asiatic Society and their associates have done commendable work. They are known as Orientalists. Those who studied Oriental civilization and brought them to the rest of the world. What do we call Carey? I would call it an Occidentalist. An Occidentalist who brought the Occident to India, Western civilization to India. And he is the first harbinger of Western civilization to India. And here again, I split the term Western civilization into the good and the bad. But for us, the good, the byproduct of Greco-Roman culture throughout the Middle Ages as codified in the modern European civilization is what would stir India. The sciences, the philosophy, the poetry, everything would stir India. And it is like acted like a matchbox, like a matchstick. It inflamed the soul of India to produce what we call the proto-Indian character. This would be taken off by Ram Mohan Roy with Dashadhar and the other leaders of the Indian Renaissance. Now, let me distinguish between, this is not done. You usually take out the Asiatic Society and Serampur College to be in the same breath. No, they are not. They are not. The Asiatic Society brought forward classical religious literature out into the open. May I ask a question? Frankly, I am a life member of the Asiatic Society. How many would require classical translations of classical Sanskrit religious texts? And to what use could a modern civilization make out of it? We had them for 5,000 years, 3,000 years, whichever 1,000 years you believe in. They were enough. They had sustained it. Now was the role for modernism. So it was steeped in the past. The Occidentalists were steeped in the future. First difference. Second, they brought India to the world, the Orientalists. Carey and company brought India to India. Linked India to India, and I'll explain how they linked India to India. They brought, as I said, they focused on Sanskrit and Persian. Carey and company focused on regional languages, the language of the people, and would bring out people's issues, regional. This is where the consolidation of the Indian mind starts. This enlightenment, and as I've said before, the enlightenment cannot be attributed only to Ram Mohan. He must be accompanied by people like Carey, Duff, and Hare, and Wilson, and many others who surrounded him. Not that he had always the best of arguments with them, but out of these dialectics emerged a new philosophy, a new guide path. Incidentally, we tend to have a monist view. We tend to have a monolithic view of the European civilization, of the East India Company rule. 1793, imagine the year. What was British rule in India? It was not the same rule that Subhash Chandra Bose faced. Not a mighty empire that stretched from Afghanistan to Burma. It was tiny trading pockets from Calcutta, from Bombay, and from Port St. George, Madras, with a couple of areas grabbed in between, where trading rights were contested. It was a pockmarked world. It was not an empire. And the contradictions that lay in the rule of the East India Company were severe. First was the contradiction of, have we come here to trade? or have we come here to rule? There were frequent contradictions between the military arm of the East India Company that went on grabbing princely kingdoms after kingdoms, and the East India Company directors saying, "Yeah, give us money. Don't ask us for money." So this was the first contradiction. The second contradiction was, if we are here to govern India, to ensure our profits, why should we allow missionaries to foul up our peace? Why should we allow missionaries? So there was an anti-missionary streak. There was an anti-missionary streak right from the establishment of the East India Company's rule in India. There were several missives that do not let these pesky padres and fathers and reverends come up and try to change India. Let it remain where it is. The more you try to change, you upset social norms, social habits. And therefore, this contradiction also remained. And Carey was one of the greatest victims of this anti-missionary tirade. There were others also. Have we come here to govern, or have we come here to improve? So these were the inner contradictions at play. And remember, as a result of these internal contradictions, India went backwards in 1793. Why do I use the term backwards? In 1789, a quinquennial settlement was converted into a decennial settlement of Bengal. The decennial settlement settled the state of Bengal, the province of Bengal, for 20 million pounds, which is worth 21 crore rupees. The fate of Bengal was settled for 21 crore rupees. And a new feudal class, ruthless, powerful, and dominating, was installed in Bengal. And what was 1789? 1789 was the year of awakening in Europe, the French Revolution. When the French Revolution toppled feudalism, toppled empires, India was installing, India was installing a new brand of oppressive feudalism to satisfy the East India Company. Remember these things. And it was this year, 1793. Why I referred to 1789 was because of the French Revolution and the settlement, and 1793 was a permanent settlement by Cornwallis, was on high the Baptist mission. A Calvinist, and Calvinism and Baptism, you know, have to understand the denomination wars that used to go on at that time. So Carey had to come in on a Dutch passport, not on an English passport, and slip into India on a rowboat opposite Calcutta. He was not allowed. And it was the Anglican missionaries who complained that we hear this fellow Baptist has come. So these are the politics of the time. But anyway, as you know, he disappeared into an indigo plantation for some time. But his main genius would come up when he received Danish patronage in Rampur. This is where his fruition starts taking place. By 1800, he had installed his headquarters in Rampur, and Carey was very clear in his mind. His work, his essay, big essay, called The Origins of Christians, the Obligations of Christians to Use Means for the Conversion of Heathens, makes it very clear that he was very, very clear in his mind, that he was here to rescue heathen souls. He sincerely believed that Indians were held captive by obscurantist ideas, by heathenism, and that it was his mission to unshackle them from this bond. He was not fully wrong. Those who get wild at such acquisitions should understand he was not fully wrong. You have to go back to India at that time, when babies were thrown into the water because infanticide was practiced, because some promise had been made to a god. Old men were left to die in the ghats called ghat murder. I said, we are deeply religious. Widows were set on fire. And we said, we are deeply religious. These contradictions could not last. We were under the torchlight of modernism. We were now under the searchlight of the rest of the world. And the first man to raise these issues was William Carey. Ram Mohan follows a few years later. It is a pity that Carey did not see the end of it, but he raised it until his last day at his level of popularity and unpopularity. He said this is intolerable. He also had views against idolatry, but that we leave it to his upbringing and to his destiny. Now, what did he do for which we are indebted to him? He set up the first schools. Remember, the first schools would be set up only after 1835, only after the Macaulay's Bill of Education was accepted, English was accepted as a medium, and schools would be set up even later after that, after the Adams Commission reported what schools, what would be the education structure at that time. So we are talking of a person who's 55 years removed. He set up schools, maybe 100 schools. There are contradicting figures. He set up a theological university, and he went on the task of translating the Bible into Bengali, Odia, Assamese, Hindi, Sanskrit, Marathi, and many other languages. Now, why this is very interesting to me? What was the guiding light of this man? There were various guiding lights. He was born into a weaver's family, trained as a cobbler, but could not be sustained as one. Life had greater expectations on him. He used to quote Isaiah 54:2-3. Expect great things from God, and this applies to you and me. Expect great things from God. Attempt great things for God. That goes around with it. This is the guiding spirit. And in 1801 began his real mission. On the one hand, he had set up the printing press, the embryo of Sanskrit College, Serampur College, embryo, because the college would actually be set up in 1880. He was called by the same British whose surveillance had not allowed him to enter Calcutta. He was called to take charge of an administrative school, the Indian Civilian School, college, called Fort William College. Now, fate plays brilliantly. Fort William College was meant to train people like us, to rule, to govern, and that's all. But then they found there were serious problems. What language does India speak in? First major problem. So two languages were given great stress, Indian languages. One was Bangla, I don't call it Bengali. One was Bangla, the other was Hindustani. Bangla and Hindustani, if we look back, there are several teachers of Bangla here. I say with confidence, Bangla was, its foundation of modern Bangla was laid in Fort William College by William Carey and his lot. William Carey and lot set up. He had with him a brilliant team. Mrityunjay Tarkalanka, arch conservative who was fighting with Ram Mohan, but never mind. You know, academic politics is old. So within the same campus you will always have things going on. That's an old thing. So here Mrityunjay Tarkalanka, and we had guest teacher was Ram Mohan. He used to come in because Ram Mohan had fluency in many languages. Ramnath Batushpati and Ram Bosu. Without Ram Bosu and Mrityunjay Tarkalanka, we cannot think of the freedom of Bengali prose. It was only under Carey that the language was unshackled from verse to prose. You see, till then, till 1802, any communication in Sanskrit or in Sanskrit could be done in play form as a drama, but most of it was in poetics. And Bangla had also, as a copycat of Sanskrit, to also come up in verse. And how many people could rhyme verses? It constricted the number of people who could communicate. Whether it be the poets of the Mongol Kabbo who would be speaking the people's language, they also had to rhyme. And this rhyme was a shackle on the development of the language. And out went the verse and rhyme and comes in prose. Because without prose you cannot have propaganda. Without prose you cannot have propagation. Without prose you cannot have communication. And Bangla was exposed to prose under the direct guidance of William Carey. This evoked a new consciousness in Bengal. It is this consciousness that would carry on to win the war in the 20th century. It was freedom from rhyme, and more important, it was freedom from the shackles of Sanskrit. But at the same time, this is a stage when Bangla realized its inadequacies and borrowed heavily from Sanskrit in two categories. The same word brought into Sanskrit, or the word comes in similar meaning, Tatshavotahavo. These words come in and enrich the language. This enrichment was also done at the instigation of a foreigner, William Carey. He realized it was his time that the second book of grammar came out. The first book of grammar came out in 1784, that is Halhead's grammar. And after Halhead, he brought out his colloquies. I wonder whether there is any copy here. I'd like to have a look at it. Between 1801 and 1815 was the period of Ram Mohan, and Ram Mohan used the vehicle that was unshackled by Fort William College to full advantage. He translated the Vedas, parts of the Vedas. He translated the Upanishads, not with the idea of propagating religion, but with bringing forward to the common Bengali that our religion does not support infanticide, it does not support patricide, it does not support sati. This was the period that Ramon used this with unshackled prose. And incidentally, I have concentrated a lot on Bangla, but I must also tell you about the development of Hindustani, which would break off into two streams, Hindi and Urdu. And Hindi would also break off only in 1860s into a new language in which you and I speak today. And what is the name of the language? Hari Boli. Hari Boli. We speak not in Bhasha, we don't speak in Awadhi Hindi, we speak in Hari Boli. And Hari Boli was an invention that was stirred from Fort William College and developed its strength from this thing. It was egged on by people like Carey and his supporters, Torichandran Mitro and Landu Lal and others. But let's forget it and move on to the next part. The mission press. The mission press produced advancement of Bengal was not an accident. It was sincere effort with the conducive atmosphere. The mission produced a translation of St. Matthew's other word. He was bringing out the people's culture, the Asiatic society was bringing out ossified culture of the past. That's the difference. That's the difference. Now, one of the is very fond. Why don't we get superior programs in Bangla or Hindi on the computers? Same problem. It's the same problem. We are an Abugida language. And the difference in an Abugida language and a syntax language is this. As a karmakar, let me put it. In an alphabetical language, all vowels and consonants carry the same weight. Okay? So if I have to write cat, C is a consonant, A is a vowel, and T is a consonant. So I put three together. I just move the typefaces. In an Abugida language, na can be used as a consonant and na can be used as a bindu. The vowels have to come out in diacritical form, in other forms. E has to come either before, O has to come one line before, one line after. O has to come with another stake on top. Can you imagine the number of fonts you require? You understand my problem? that it's not as simple as the Latin alphabets, that you press them one by one, and Gutenberg's press takes over, Carey's press takes over. No, here you are facing the first difficulties of the Indian languages that has come from Brahmi. It is Abu Geda. I have to twist the word, half the word, twist the word, and place them. So how many fonts do you require? How do you match the font? Like if I'm writing pay, pa, a. Pa is here, a goes there. No, no, it has to be simultaneously synchronized. It's easy to write, but how on earth do you produce it? And this was what he did by hiring a man for Pachu Karmakar, Panchanan Karmakar. He took him from the Asiatic Society's Aka. He was the one who had helped Halhead. And from Halhead, he had learned the art of cutting types and synchronizing them. So it was Pachu Karmakar and his printer, Tonga Kishore Bhatkar. They brought in as a team, but Carey was always there as a supervisor. And this is the team that first experimented with Indian languages in the Bangla script. And once they were successful with Bangla, they moved on to Hindustani, they moved on to Odia, they moved on other. They had found the solution. This major breakthrough is simply not understood by people. That why did Carey's printing matter so much? And with these problems, he went on to publish 2.12 lakh books, remember. So, for then we have, what was the East India Company's attitude to this man's activity? They were always suspicious of it. What was the East India Company's attitude? He was under the rule of Lord Wellesley, who had invited him, incidentally. Come and join Fort William College in Kolkata. But when it comes to printing books in regional languages, he said, do not allow the natives to propagate. He opposed it. The opposition, this was Lord Wellesley, not Marquis of Wellesley. There were two Wellesleys we have. One was Arthur Wellesley of Wellington, and this was the second Wellesley, Lord Wellesley, who ruled from 1801 to 1806, I think. He is the one who built that Raj Bhavan and all. Marquis Wellesley called him and opposed, gave him in opposition in writing, do not propagate. He said, to hell with you, I'll go back to Sirampur. Sirampur and the Danish refuge was where he operated from, and he went on, because he was never wavering in his task. The last task on which I shall focus for a few minutes is his task in propagating popular culture through vegetables, through foodstuffs. He realized that we were isolated within our own foodstuffs. And the Columbian exchange had taken place 200, 300 years ago. Columbian exchange is when European foods went to the newly Columbian discovered America, and America sent back their food to Europe. And through the Columbian exchange, a lot of stuff had come, but they were not catching on. I'll give you one example. The potato had come in with the Portuguese in Goa. It was called by the Portuguese name patata or batata. It's still called batata puri. Batata. Whole of West calls it batata. It's the Bengalis who create trouble. They say, oh, we have seen this thing. We call it chakalu, khamalu, rangalu. So they called it Firingi aloo. This Firingi aloo cultivation in Bengal was propagated none by other than William Carey. This is 400 years after it came to India. It was not just getting along. While he set up the Agri-Horticultural Society and gave prizes to Indian farmers, grow this potato. After growing, they said, Sahib, to sell it back to me. This was the time that a heinous activity took place in Bengal and Bihar and in parts of Maharashtra. Opium was grown on a large scale, and opium was extracted and sent to China to buy tea and silk and an entire nation was drugged so that the British could make profits. The biggest drug lords in the world. But where it is relevant for us is the chilka of the opium that is to lie on the floor. And some interpret Bengali or Bapu have discovered that aloo and posto went together. So these are some of many of the European foods that you have today, you take it for granted. Peas, motor, gopi, both types. You take gajar, carrots, you take beet, you take a lot of food. You don't know they were all propagated from here because he wanted not only Western intellectualism, he wanted Western food products to come in also. So I'll round up by saying that his horror of the malpractices of obscurantism remained, but at the same time the man had somewhere fallen in love with this country. You cannot do this unless you love the country. And he had ignited the soul from the material to the intellectual to the theological. He had ignited the soul through language, through communication, through food. And he was the publisher of the first magazine, the spreading of the printing press, the organization of grammar and syntax, prose as mass communication, women's liberation. I forgot to say that he was all along the premier of women's liberation. I have compared the dates and found that he 2 years ahead of Ram Mohan's first tract on women. So they were contemporaries. So it's not a question of who stood first and who stood second, but they were contemporaries. And Western education. He knew that the education system of tolls and madrasas and pathshalas will not do. We have to have structured education. And he went on running the course. This is the first, while we take Raja Ram Mohan as the first modern Indian, we must remember the first modern European to modernize India remains William Carey. It was his modernism that created the ignited soul of India. And it is this soul, this consciousness, the consciousness was aroused, the pride would come after another 15 to 20 years when Cunningham started discovering the artifacts of Buddhist India. So pride of India's glory would come, Sanchi, Ajanta, they would all come in. And then the two would mix with university education that came up after 1857. And all of them would mix together to produce the Indian nation, the vanguard of the Indian nation, the literate class. So Carey's role has so far been underestimated in this light. I am glad, I am honored that you gave me an opportunity to make my submissions, and I hope to develop on them on more. Thank you very much.
Wow. Sir, we have heard a very historic speech from a wonderful historian's point of view. Thank you, sir, for reminding us of the uncompromising contributions of Reverend Dr. William Carey in our nation building from day to day, various important things which we are using without knowing sometimes, which Carey contributed. Thank you, sir. And we are so honored today that we have, not like others, we have an MP who is not only educated, but very highly educated. Shall we give another round of applause for such a wonderful speaker? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now we have a time of prize distributions and college scholarship distributions in the presence of these honored guests. Now, first of all, we would like to give a short time to those students who competed in the essay writing competition 2022, William Carey essay writing competition. So we would like to invite Dr. Swati Dotto and Mrs. Amongla Jamil. Dr. Swati Dotto from English Department of Arts, Science, Commerce and Mrs. Amongla Jamil from the Faculty of Theology just to come and declare the results of essay writing competition. So, they are coming to announce the three winners. Please come on the stage. Yeah. And there is a request from the organizer side here. All those who are receiving scholarships, please come this side. All the students of theology and ASC also, please come on this side so that we may be able to deliver those scholarships very quickly. Please come this side. Mrs. Amul and Dr. Swati Dotto, please come. Please come. Time is yours now. Because
The
our
recipients
chief
of
guest is
scholarship.
very, our chief
Please come
guest
on
is
the
very
next side
busy.
of the dais.
He has to leave quickly. Please come. And immediately after this, please get ready, Reverend Lal Fiat Kima, who is the Secretary of Scholarship Committee. So he will be here present for declaring the result.
எடுத்துருவோம் ஒழுங்கு எடுக்கலாம் ஒன்றும் பிரச்சனை இல்லையா டக்குனு நமக்கு தம்பி அதை செய்ய இதை செய்ய பெருக்கி கூட்டும் சொல்லி பார்த்துக்கலாம் கேமரா இல்லையா
This year, we had the SC competition on the title, William Carey and his relevance to independent India. That's the topic given to the students for the SC competition, and then this year many of the students turned back and contributed so much. 46 students contributed and then participated in the SC competition, and out of that we have selected 3 winners, and I would like to declare the result here. The first prize goes to Mr. Ramanuj Padacharya, BSc Mathematics, 3rd semester. And the second prize goes to Mr. Dev Kumar Das, BA History, 5th semester. And the third prize goes to Mr. Joel S. from the Department of Theology, Bachelor of Divinity, 2nd year. So these are the 3 winning students for the Carey Day SC Competition 2022.
Thank you for the results declared. Now, this is a very special time of Serampur College scholarship distribution, which the scholarship was funded by Government of Denmark. We would like to request Reverend Lal Riat Kima to come here and declare the recipients' names, and our honorable chief guest is here, who is behind helping these students. So we would like to give this opportunity to our honored chief guest to distribute this.
Our students are they are privileged to receive most prestigious King Frederick VI scholarship.
Hello. Our respected principal, Dr. Vansang Lora, our chief guest, Ms. Mita Bajoria, the Consul General of Denmark for West Bengal, and also our guest speaker, Mr. Jawahar sircar, and all the people who are assembled here on this auspicious occasion. It is with a great pleasure and appreciation that I stand today to announce the list of recipients of Serampur College scholarship. Now, before I announce the recipients, I would like to say a few words about the beginning of this Serampur scholarship. As we are all aware, we have celebrated our 200 years in the year 2018. And during that time, to mark the bicentenary of Serampur College, Serampur Scholarship, which was formerly known as King Frederick VI Scholarship, was given by the Denmark government through its embassy in New Delhi to the students of Serampur College for 2 academic years. And this scholarship was then dispersed to 15 students from the Faculty of Theology and also 30 students to the Arts, Science, Commerce Department during the Carey Day celebrations, which was held on 17 August 2019. The selection of these recipients were done based on the guidelines approved and accepted by the Serampur College and the Royal Danish Embassy in New Delhi, where academic performance in the previous academic sessions, also equal distribution between male and female students, and poor financial condition of the students are taken into considerations. This year also, the same criteria is used for selecting the recipient of this Serampur Scholarship. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may, I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Principal, Dr. Vansang Lura, and the entire Serampur College community, and especially the recipient of this scholarship, to express our sincere gratitude to the Royal Embassy, to the Royal Danish Embassy, especially in the presence of our chief guest, Mrs. Smita Bajoria, who is the Consul General of Denmark for West Bengal. I believe that the scholarship given to the students will be used resourcefully, especially for their education. Now this year, like in the previous time, we have selected 15 students from the Faculty of Theology and 29 students from the Arts, Science, Commerce Department. Now to hand over the scholarship to the students, I would like to invite first of all our chief guest, Mrs. Smita Bajoria, to do the honor first. From the Faculty of Theology, Mr. George Daniel from BD2. Please give him a round of applause. And Mr. Jaya Abenazer from BD4. Mr. Tapash Das from BD final year. Mr. Peniel Laran Khana from BD second year. Mr. Bevesir Lai Khan from BD second year. Ms. Anneli Y. Ayomi from BD third year. Ms. Arlal Famwadi from BD final year. Ms. Jasmine Sornasali V from BD second year. Ms. Irani Patra from BD second year. And Ms. Nitsi Kensi from BD third year. Thank you, Madam. And you may take your seat. Now I would like to request our guest speaker, Mr. Jawahar Sircar, to give away, to do the honor of handing over the scholarship to the students. From BD4, Mr. Judson J. From BD third year, Mr. Lundin Sama. From BD second year, Ms. Puantandiu Ngaume. From second year again, Miss Nezomono Sanchu. And from DD second year again, Mr. Rupesh Darji. So out of the 15 students, 8 students are male and 7 students are female. Now from the Arts, Science, Commerce department, Miss Anurupa Bhattacharya from BSc Botany. Miss Anurupa Bhattacharya. Followed by Mr. Orpan Pramanik. Mr. Orpan Pramanik. Orpan Pramanik.
எனக்கு ஒன்றும் புரியாது நீங்க எடுத்துக்கா லைவ் டெலிகாஸ்ட் ஆகிட்டு இருக்கு எல்லாரும் பார்த்து கண்டு பண்ணிக்கிறீங்க
Miss Aishi Banerjee from MSc Botany. Aishi Banerjee. Followed by Mr. Anirban Roy Chaudhary. Miss Tisha Paul from BSc Physiology.
நம்ம எடுத்துட்டியா சமாதானம்
Mr. Abhishek Nandi from MSc Physiology. Miss Sayantali Odi from MSc Physiology. Miss Shreya Banerjee from BSc Zoology. Miss Shreya Banerjee. Thank you, sir. Immediately. Now may I invite our principal to hand over the next one. Mr. Sufranshu Chakraborty, SC Zoology. Miss Shaundi Ghosh. Mr. Samiran Potra. Mr. Subhashish Chakraborty. Okay, then we'll move on to the next one. Miss Shalini Singh. Miss Shreya Bhattacharya. Mr. Sovik Santra. Yeah. Subhashish Chakraborty. Mr. Sovik Santra. Mr. Sovik Santra. Miss Debalina Nandi. Mr. Santanu Mati. Miss Sinchula Banerjee. Mr. Abrojit Mukherjee. Miss Samarpita Mukherjee. Mr. Akash Hasra. Akash Hasra. Miss Anisha Singh. Miss Anisha Singh. Thank you, sir. May I now invite Vice Principal of Theology Department, Dr. Ashwati John, to hand over the scholarship. Miss Arava Uha. Miss Arava Uha. Mr. Rohit Soham. Miss Anusha Ghosh. Mr. Soman Sanyal. Mr. Soman Sanyal. Miss Namrata Ghosh. Miss Namrata Ghosh. Mr. Manjit Jha. Mr. Manjit Jha. And lastly, Miss Rajashri Das. Miss Rajashri Das. So out of 29 students, there are 16 female students and 13 male students from the ASC department. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
After the distribution of this scholarship, now I would like to ask the recipient of prize recipient of essay competition, whose names are already announced. Please come on the dais to receive your prize. Mr. Ramanuj Bhattacharya. Mr. Ramanuj Bhattacharya will receive the first prize. Ramanuj. Is she taking on behalf of Ramanuj? Madam, on behalf of Ramanuj. Madam, please come on the dais. Ramanuj, please come on the dais. The prize is handed over by your respective principal, sir. First prize winner, Mr. Ramanuj Bhattacharya. Second prize winner, Mr. Dev Kumar Dash. Mr. Dev Kumar Dash, please come on the dais. Dev Kumar will receive the second prize of the essay competition. And the third prize winner is Mr. Joel S. BD second year theology. Mr. Joel. Thank you, sir.
We are so happy that we could distribute not only the college scholarship and also these prizes for essay competition. Now is the time for college prize distribution. We are now not behind time, we are on time. So now is the time for distribution of college prizes. So we would like to request Dr. Prasenjit Sircar to come on the stage, and he will be assisted by his team members to come on the stage and declare the results of college prizes. And we request him to, yes. Oh, so there is another which is not done. There was a poster competition. So we received the result now. The poster competition was held and the result will be declared, please.
Exactly. A poster competition was organized by our college on the occasion of Carey Day Celebration 2022. The theme for the event was William Carey's relevance in independent India. In the category of students of Sirampur College, both ASC and Theology Department, first prize winner is Avishkar Das, BSc 6th Sem General Student. Avishkar Das. Avishkar, come on the dais. Second prize winner, Avishkar. I'd like to request our principal, sir, please, to hand over the prizes. The second prize winner, Shahili Maiti, become 3rd Sem General Student. The third prize winner, actually, third prize will be handed over jointly to Aheli Chakraborty and Snehashish Bhattacharya. Aheli and Snehashish, come on the dais. Snehashish Bhattacharya, third prize winner from BA Sanskrit Honours. After that, in the category of Staff Award of Sirampur College Employees, ASC and Theology, first prize the first prize will be handed over to Shamunita Bhaur of class 7, and she is the daughter of Mr. Shujit Bhaur, cashier. Proud father on behalf of his daughter. Okay. Next, second prize winner is Shoma Shri Roy of class 9, daughter of Mr. Shomitra Roy, Department of Zoology. Shoma Shri Roy, daughter of Mr. Shomitra Roy, Department of Zoology. Thank you, sir. Now it is the time for the distribution of college prizes. And it will be now conducted by Dr. Prosenjit from Department of Physics.
First name is Akash Hajra, Department of Commerce. He has got the highest mark in the Finance and Accounting Honours among the students of Srirampur College, University Examination 2021. So I request Akash to come on the stage and request our principal sir to hand over the prizes to Akash. And he will receive two prizes, Suresh Chandra Mitra Memorial Prize and Shri Sivas Chandra and Ponchubala Ghosh Memorial Prize. I request Akash to come on the stage. Akash, are you present? Not present. Okay. The next is Akash Kurmi, Department of Bengal. I request Akash to come on the stage and he will receive prizes, Maniklal Mukherjee Memorial Prize and Surendranath Ghosh Memorial Prize. Next is Sumana Dev Goswami, Department of English. He will receive also two prizes, R.C. Chaudhary Memorial Prize and Surendranath Ghosh Memorial Prize. I request Sumana. Next is Srijit Khara, Department of History. He will receive two prizes, Sumitra Roy Memorial Prize and Surendranath Ghosh Memorial Prize. Next is Meghna Ghosh, Department of Philosophy. She will receive two prizes, Sanghamitra City Prize and Surendranath Ghosh Memorial Prize. Next is Shalini Singh, Department of Political Science. She will receive two prizes, Bhuvan Mohan and Snehalata Guha Mullik Memorial Prize and Gaur Mohan Bhattacharya Memorial Prize. Shalini Singh, Department of Political Science. Shalini Singh, Department of Political Science. Okay. अच्छा अच्छा next is Bobby Yadav, Department of Sanskrit. There are three prizes, Old Student Association Prize, Kumud Ranjan Chatterjee Memorial Prize and Professor Naresh Chandra Shastri Memorial Prize. Next is Subhasis Chakraborty, Department of Communicative English. He will receive Nirmalendu Majumdar Memorial Prize. Subhasis Chakraborty, Department of Communicative English.
And all prize winners are again asked to come on the left side of the dais
Subhasis Chakraborty. So on behalf of Subhasis, our Projiktuda will take the prize. Next is Akash Hajra, Department of Finance and Accounting. He will receive two prizes, Suresh Chandra Mitra Memorial Prize and Shri Sivas Chandra and Konchubala Ghosh Memorial Prize. Next is Shantanu Marty, Department of Physics. He will receive 6 prizes, Alikankar Sarkar Memorial Prize, H.P. Das Scholarship, Nisikanto Barik Memorial Prize, Anindo Hajra Memorial Prize, H.P. Das Memorial Prize, and Ashok Banerjee Memorial Prize. Next is Sinchula Banerjee, Department of Physics. He will receive Surendra Bala Sarkar Memorial Prize and NSS Prize. Next, Satnik Mitro, Department of Chemistry. He will receive 5 prizes, R.N. Chaudhary Memorial Prize, Dr. Arup Kumar Nath Memorial Prize, H.P. Das Memorial Prize, Ashok Banerjee Memorial Prize, and Jagadish Chandra Sarkar Memorial Prize. Next is Mohor Banerjee, Department of Chemistry. He will receive 2 prizes, NSS Prize and Soroshi Bala Sarkar Memorial Prize. Next is Pornaditya Chakraborty, Department of Mathematics. He will receive 5 prizes, Dr. Samal Kumar Hajra Memorial Prize, Special Prize by J.T.K. Daniel, A.K. Mukherjee Memorial Prize, H.P. Das Memorial Prize, and Kalikinkar Sarkar Memorial Prize. Next is Deepanika Gorang, Department of Mathematics. He will receive 2 prizes, NSS Prize and Surendra Bala Sarkar Memorial Prize. Next is Tomosi Manna, Department of Economics. He will receive 2 prizes, Shoshti Charan Bhattacharya Memorial Prize and R.M. Haldar Memorial Prize. Next is Sumon Bhattacharya, Department of Zoology. He will receive 2 prizes, Dr. Mohima Ranjan Das Gold Medal, Mohima Ranjan Das Memorial Prize and Harolal Nath Memorial Prize. Actually, our retired professor Nitish Ranjan Das, this prize will given by him, but actually he is not well. So I request Sumon to contact with the department for his prize. So next is Urchita Biswas, Department of Botany. He will receive 2 prizes, Dina Bhattacharya Memorial Prize and Swami Jogodananda Memorial Prize. Next is Chandrima Manna, Department of Physiology. There are 2 prizes, Jogodananda Mukherjee Memorial Prize and Swami Jogananda Memorial Prize. Chandrima Manna, Department of Physiology. Not present. Next is Srinomti Ghosh, Department of Geography. She will receive Carey Day Prize. Next is Sompa Maji, Department of Education. She will receive Abha Chakraborty Memorial Prize, and I request Professor Jayatri Chakraborty to come on the stage and hand over the prize. and also principals. This is the end of our prize distribution ceremony. Thank you. Again, Chandrima Manna, Department of Physiology. If you present, please come on the stage. Chandrima Manna, Department of Physiology. Chandrima Manna, Department of Physiology. Oh, so I request SR ma'am to come on the stage to take the prize on behalf of Chandrima Manna. And request our principal sir to hand over the prizes to SR ma'am. So this is the end of our prize distribution ceremony. Thank you. So this is the end of our prize distribution ceremony, and I also thanks our principal sir, vice principal of theology.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prasenjit Sircar, for organizing and telling the names of the prize winners. Now we are at the end of the program, Carey Day lecture today, and we always end with a vote of thanks. If there is no vote of thanks, we cannot really do justice to give thanks to all those who have worked behind. There are many, but then we may not be able to have enough time to thank each and every one, but still we would like to try. Now we request Dr. Ashwati John, Vice Principal of Theology, Faculty of Theology, to come forward and say a vote of thanks on behalf of all of us.
Let me take this to thank everyone for making this program very successful today. Our principal and the CEO of the Ceremonial College and the chief guest and our speaker and all the subcommittee members, vice principal of ALC and the bursar of ALC and secretary of ALC and all the teachers from different committees, those who made this program very successful. We thank you very much for all of you and all the students and those who have worked behind for the success of this program even in the morning. And we have come to the end. All the teachers, all the students, all the participants and those who have come from far and near, we express our heartfelt thanks to all to make it very successful one. And also we will have a short kind of a refreshment with your coupons, you can also approach. Thank you very much. Thank you one and all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ashwati John. Now we are going to end the program, but before ending, we would like to request Reverend K. Lankima to conclude this program with a word of prayer. We sought blessings from God at the beginning, and we would like to thank God for the successful. Did you all like this Carey Day lecture today and all the programs? Yes? Thank you very much. We would like to now closing.
Let us look to God in prayer. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, come to the close of our first session of celebration of the 261st birth anniversary of William Carey. We thank you for your guidance and your presence in our midst. We thank you for showing us your faithfulness once again to us, your humble servants, who continued the legacy of William Carey today. Lord, bless the programs, and enrich us in a certain ways so that we may be able to carry the torch borne by William Carey and other friends in Serampur College to light the world through the gospel. In Jesus' most precious name we pray. Amen. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Reverend K. Lankima, for the closing prayer. Now, we would like to just make announcement that there are refreshment packets for all of you. Please collect your refreshment packets before you leave this place. And